Dear viewers, here we are. After many weeks, 7 weeks to be exact, of a spring split. After not only one, not two, but 3 whole match days here in playoffs, we finally had the day for finalies to head against each other. We have Sloths going up against Dynasty coming in from the semi-finals, and those are sure to be banger matches we have ahead of us. And for that, I shall not be alone, as always. I will have 2 wonderful people by my side, which I will introduce to you as Krishtana and QG. Welcome back, guys. There they are. How are you? How are you?
I'm dead, but it's fine. And you guys look way too beautiful for me. I mean, both in, I don't know, I can't say it in English, but I mean, I have just a t-shirt and I'm dead, so I'm like you are the beauty and I'm the beast, I guess. It's totally fine for me.
Yeah, it seems like yeah, but I also have a headache since like 6 a.m. So.
No.
They have one physically sick and the other one just with a pounding headache the whole time. So that's gonna be a good time. Good time. Sloths versus Dynasty. We brought you the best of the best in the best of the shape. But
yeah, the best shape you can get, right?
Well,
nothing better than.
We make 2. And you guys still showed up. I believe that's all that counts. And I think I can speak for the 3 of us when I say that we're all hyped to see the best of 5 we're about to see between Sloths and Dynasty. Well, on one side, the unbeaten Sloths throughout the split, right? Still need to get a loss if they want a loss. And Dynasty up to the challenge, who have like continuously improved over the split, and what they showed to us in semi-finals on Wednesday was, in my opinion, like pinnacle Dynasty right there. They were really good. I believe that they're in to bring a challenge to the Sloths in any case.
Definitely. I mean, I don't look hyped and my voice doesn't hear hyped, but I'm definitely hyped. But I can't show it. It's so sad. I'm so sad because like when I just look at the whole season or start of the season, I would have said that Dynasty are definitely second best team in the league just from the lineup. And then they struggled and then they could do nothing and almost did not get into playoffs. But now after 2 sweeps, they definitely look strong. Maybe even strong enough to at least win a game against Sloths, who knows? But Sloths is just another type of team. So let's see if they even have a chance, because Sloths unbeaten in playoffs, so will be a hard one.
Yeah, but the Dynasty is unbeaten in playoffs too, so yeah, and we had the same thing last split in the same playoffs where the 4th team actually went to finals and beat the boss of first place. So is it the position, the curse, or is it the Dynasty of the 4th place? That's the question.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they fare. Of course, as you can see, best of 5 series up to now, we've always been to the 3rd match and it was over. So maybe this time around, more than 3 matches, will Dynasty be able to pull it off, to take the win from the Sloths. We will see that, and maybe to put it more in a, let's say, tangible context, we can take a look at team stats we've gathered for the regular split, putting Sloths head-to-head to Dynasty in pure relevant game stats here. So it's not just us talking, and maybe, Krishtana, you can tell us a bit about the stats people are seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we see an undefeated team against a team which was struggling, because those stats are just from the regular season, like you said, so no playoff stats at the moment. And with that, like, Dynasty almost did not get into playoffs, and with that, like, those stats just looks not terrible, but I mean, they are worse than every single stat we have, so but that's expected, especially like those good stats from Sloths just means that they win their games quick, they win their games with good KDAs, they just win it with domination. And because of that, of course, they have higher stats than a team like Dynasty who came through in as a 4th place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they still showed immense potential for this matchup within their whole walkthrough, because honestly, they seem to just walk through it breezy, easy peasy, because they had solid games throughout. I mean, against German Gang, they were very, very regal in their way, and against Folklia Esports as well. Will they be able to carry that over to the Riftsloths? We'll see in an instant. But of course, as I like to always say, those teams would be nothing without their stars, their shining stars, the players, and we'll go over each of them individually, starting off with the top position. And maybe QG, you can tell us a bit more about the 2 top laners we'll see facing off, Lex for the Riftsloths and Hazagi for Dynasty.
Yeah, Hazaki, who just played a phenomenal Ornn the last playoff game, and he also said that he's gonna beat Lex today, so I'm kind of hyped for that matchup actually. Lex is pretty stable, you see that in his KDA. He's not that good in kill participation. That means that his team can doesn't have to rely on him, and also he's more of the split pusher with the Jax as his first priority pick, and also the CS per minute is not that of a difference, so the only thing here is that Lex has more KDA, and I think Lex is the better 1v1 player. He also plays more of these 1v1 champions, we are setting up the lobby. But yeah, what I want to say is the champ differs. Lex plays more of these 1v1s and fighters and split pushers, and Hasaki is more there for the team. His Ornn was phenomenal. He almost got a Panther with it. He had like 10. It was 10-0 against the Renekton 2 times. So he shows that his team needs him. And for Lex, he's just a split push beast that we have here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Next up is a very proactive position. The jungle position, the jungler going all over the Summoner's Rift throughout the match, being able to pull their team ahead or get themselves ahead for their team. Tristana, maybe you can tell us a bit more about Shredded and Humulu, who will both be facing off here.
Yeah, of course. Like Humulu, my German guy from Germany, like one of my beloved ones. And of course Shredded, I mean, he's maybe the strongest jungler we have in the league so far, maybe even like the strongest junglers we ever had, just because like he is like this rookie coming from Turkey, and he just normally in solo queue only lost like those 1v1 champions like the Kindred, like the Kha'Zix and stuff. But in the league, he just plays tanks. He invades with Maokai, he invades with Sichuani. He doesn't care. That's what I like about Shredder, that he has those 2 phases. And especially in the playoffs run, we saw him even playing this one Kindred game on his signature champion. So, and yeah, I mean, from stat-wise, we don't need to talk. Shredder definitely like the better player in that regard. But like, the champion pool is kind of similar with Sichuani and with Wukong. Both go for those engaged champions, both go for the first engages. So they are both really important for their teams, because they take the role of the guy who calls the first shot. That's really important for a team.
No, absolutely. Then we'll go to the central position in the literal sense of the term, because the mid laner are the one who run it down mid, or hopefully don't run it down. Usually you prefer when they don't. We'll have Bekan for the Riftsloths and Frankie for Dynasty, 2 very, very strong players, and maybe QG, you can tell us more about them.
Yeah, these players I think are the heart of the teams. Beacon with the phenomenal 9 KDA, it's like 3 times that of Frankie. So also the kill participation is more on Beacon's side, but the CS per minute is the same. So Frankie showed us that with the Jace he's a beast, and I think the Jace will be a priority here because Beacon can also play the Jace. He prefers these carries with the Victor and the Tristana, but he also can play like these melee mages with the Gragas. And Frankie's more of the meta with the Nico, the LeBlanc, and also the Syndra. So it's really gonna be interesting who is gonna win here. Well, for stat-wise, it's Beacon, but Frankie always showed up since the last 6 games they played. So he's on fire, and I think Beacon has to be ready.
Yeah, there's definitely a very, very good streak here coming in from Frankie. Very strong performance. Also something to add, Beacon, you saw the Tristana pick. That was the one pick he got the pentakill on, and it was against Dynasty. So maybe this time around it's time for Frankie to get revenge. Get himself a pentakill versus the Rift Sloths, who knows. Sure, they will give us a banger matchup in the mid lane. In any case, now to one of the most, if not the most, important position in a League of Legends game, the AD carry, where we'll have on sides of Rift Sloths Adafla going up against Dark UniQ from Dynasty, and we'll know really well here at ESLOL, and maybe Prashtane can tell us more about them.
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar. Both are maybe the main carriers of their teams. They are both the laner who gets the most interaction with the jungler, like Kumulu, and of course Shredder will play around those two carries because they will definitely carry those games. Like we can see it with the high kill participation, they are always there with the high CSD. I think those two numbers are like the highest from all of those players we saw at the moment. So they definitely know how to carry. They definitely carried a lot. Dark UniQ, I think with the quarter, and then Frankie stole the Penta at Wednesday and stuff. And then of course Adafla. Both play the Kaiser. I think Kaiser will be a really contested pick here as well with the Chase. So probably Kaiser Ben or Kaiser first pick in all of those games. And with that, like 2 really important carries. And whoever wins bot lane has a really good chance to win the series.
Absolutely, and those two wouldn't be anything without their most valuable asset, their supports. We have for the Rift Sloths the veteran Grizzon, and on the sides of Dynasty we have Krablon and maybe QG. You can finish off by telling us more about them.
Yeah, these players are Grizzon's all about engage. He plays these hook champs and the cow. He has 57% pick rate on Nautilus. That's, I think, for the whole first split, nobody banned the Nautilus until they thought, okay, it might be a problem. It was always a Nautilus angle, so people started to pick or ban against Grizzon. But you see, Grizzon is on the perfect 5 KDA and Crablord on the 3.52. And he has less kill participation in Crablord. It means that Crablord runs more around with his team probably, and you see the average vision score is like 2 wards apart. That's not that much. So the Grizzon is more the engage type of support you see, and Crablord he stays behind and also can engage. He can play enchanters, but Grizzon, I think he only played these engage champs, and I think that's what Rift Sloths need. They need the engagement from the support.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see how they're able to capitalize most on their bot lane, because we've said it, it's a very important position in this game we all call League of Legends. Very often the most important one to take the win home. Of course, we've had those games throughout the split where it wasn't fully AD carry centric. We've had the games where suddenly a team decide, okay, we're actually starting to lose slightly on the bot lane, let's put the focus on the top lane and maybe get a win through one of them carrying. Very often with very strong split pushing champions, something like that can happen. And this is one regard where we're also fulfilled here with Rift Sloths and Dynasty. They have strong players in every single position. They have very, very solid teamwork as well within them, especially now at the pinnacle of the split where it all starts to come together. Now, since we still have some time, maybe Frashtana, you can give us your insights on maybe a small prediction on this best of 5.
I think the easiest prediction is that Rift Sloths will win. Maybe with a 3-0, maybe with a 3-1. I think actually it's a huge advantage that they saw like two sweeps from Dynasty. They know exactly how to draft against them, how to play against them. And with that, I mean that they beat them 2 times in the regular season, right? So it's hard to argue against Rift's loss. So I would actually predict 3-1 because I think that Dynasty with the right draft, maybe even like in game 1 or something where they can maybe surprise Rift's loss a little bit, that could work out. But in the end, I think Rift's loss definitely has good chances to just take it away.
How about you, QG?
Yeah, I think Dynasty can actually take one game out of it. They are on fire. They are hot. So if Frankie gets the Jace and they can play like these poke comps with the Ziggs, the Varus or the Kai'Sa, they get one of those. Maybe they lose the first game when they are on red side, or and then they can prioritize the Jace maybe, and then get some poke out. They maybe can win, but the Rifts are so stable that it has, like Freshtana said, to be an almost perfect draft to come out from the mid to the late game, because the Sloths macro is just incredible.
Yeah, I think we're all on a similar page here. Definitely there is this angle where Dynasty can take a win, and I believe everybody kind of roots for them in that regard to take the win on the Rifts, but they've just been unbeaten throughout the split. There wasn't an ounce of at the start they were like a bit wobbly on their feet, but going towards this end of the split there wasn't an ounce of weakness within their game plan. They always executed it really well, but I also have slight doubts in that prediction, and the aspect that, in my opinion, Dynasty, they just leaped so far ahead from where they were before during the split. In my opinion, they've had incredible progress now. They are very strong. I believe the current meta just suits them also really well. And they played the drafts. I mean, Freshtana, you said they need a great draft, but throughout the playoffs, they did really great drafts in my opinion. They put champions' flexibilities in terms of position to the utmost advantage they could. They like stretched the fabric of the possibilities endlessly, and it always worked out for them. So I think we could be in for a grand surprise coming in from them. But yeah, so QG, you said you talked a lot about the Jace. Freshtana, what's your take on the Jace? You've also seen it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think Jace is really an important pick for both sides, and I think we saw last season that Bukan played the Jace a couple of times. So for Rift losses, could be just easy to pick it away, blue side, maybe ban the Kai'Sa, maybe let it open. I don't. They don't care about Kai'Sa. They could just really ban it on blue. First pick Jace, and like I think a really big asset in this draft is Lex, because he plays the Gwen, he plays the Fiora, and like if I compare it with Festier, he just played Renekton against the Ornn. He maybe played the Kled against the Ornn in the last game, but he does not have those crucial lane matchups like the Fiora, like the Gwen, who can really punish Ornn. Ornn against Gwen with 2 items, the Gwen can just kill him, take the tower without any effort. Fiora as well. Like it's so hard to play against Gwen. It's so hard to play against good Gwen, and Festier just did not play it, but Lex will play it. And I think the Ornn is a big asset, the Jace is a big asset, the Kai'Sa is a big asset, and Rift can just take them out. Can take just ban one, pick one, and have a good counter pick, and the whole draft of Dynasty kind of, I don't know, it crumbles. And with that, I don't see high chances if they really like go for those three ideas in my head. Then Dynasty just has nothing left in the tank, I would assume.
Yeah, I think it's also punishing if you concentrate on your top lane. So your bot lane is on the weak side, and you definitely, in these types of metas, you don't want to have your bot lane on weak side, because you fall behind, the enemy gets more resources, and so you carry worse. And you just want to have your AD carry pumped up, fed, and kill the other team. So I think it's hard to actually get something out of the top lane for Hasaki against Lex. So it will definitely be a hard time.
Yeah, well, talking about the bot lane, I'm a bit intrigued what you guys take on that. I know we've seen, especially throughout the playoffs from Dark UniQ, rather big variety of picks. I mean, he's been all over. I believe there was a lot of Kai'Sa, but there was also some Xayah, there was some Kog'Maw, there was even the Ziggs pick. I feel like he's got, or he's shown at least, a much wider range of picks than Ardafla. Do you guys think that that might be an asset Dynasty may want to capitalize on going up in the draft here? Yeah, maybe for starter you have an opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, Adafla, even though he might not shown us too much of his champion pool, I think he still has plenty to go for him. So I especially like the ADC role, usually in my opinion, is the easiest role to have a good champion pool on. It's not like it's the easiest role, but it's... I mean, those champions are just too similar to not like at least know how to play them, like Jinx and the Aphelios, or like Caitlyn, or like whatever. They are all just long range ADCs, or like those aggressive ADCs who can jump in, jump out. Like if you play one, you can definitely play the other, maybe not on the same level, but on a slightly lower level. So to have a great champion pool as ADC is way easier than to play different playstyles on top lane or mid lane, for example. So that's why I think that even though Adafla did not show too many champions, he definitely will play others like out of nowhere without a problem.
Yeah, and we see that the Rel and the Blitzcranks are out, so there's no flex pick for either of these teams with the Rel. And there's the Jace out, even ban it on red side, so they don't want to pick it up. And there's Tristana gone, so it's not a focus on some lanes, but it's support and mid lane from Sloths and from Dynasty here. And I think they could also get, I think, isn't Dark UniQ also Draven main? Maybe you don't want to have that. But there's the Nautilus gone now. So
And by the Rift Sloths themselves, I mean, I think no one would know better than Grizzon when to pick or ban a Nautilus, honestly. Yeah, at this point he's Nautilus incarnate to me. So yeah, and then banning Kha'Zix on sides of Dynasty, although I don't believe that Shredded has picked it up anytime. Maybe some good scouting on their part, I don't know.
Oh, and the Nico first pick. Like this draft so far, I really not quite sure about some of those bans, some of those picks, because like banning away the Jace, you could just first pick in, for example. Like banning away the Kha'Zix, in my opinion, is not really needed, and like even why not first pick the Kai'Sa, for example. Like Nico is a good pick, but I don't think that she is like the first pick you need to go for, especially after this little nerf. So it's, I mean, they definitely know why they do it, but I think this Kai'Sa pick for Dynasty is really a good one.
yeah, it also opens up your draft. You can play Kai'Sa AD AP, so she still has the damage. And there's Syndra. Also, we have both mid laners. You can also send Nico into the jungle, because she has a bit of monster damage added since her rework, I kinda can say. But we'll probably see an answer on the bot lane here from the cast. I think Braum shouldn't be that bad here. When we see the Ezreal.
If that's something also cooked up new by the Rift Sloths. I mean, always rather solid. Super safe in lane. I believe even against a Kai'Sa I can say super safe. Oh, and maybe the castle. I mean, you said the Nico in the jungle could also be flexed towards the support role, although it definitely does not. It does kind of add up with the Grizzon playstyle, but you know, not that much. He usually is more in a bulky engage type, right?
Yeah, I mean, both teams right now draft like they never drafted before, in my opinion. Yeah. Like the Ezreal, the Viego from Shredded, the Nico, like the Syndra even from Frankie. I mean, it's both sides definitely had something prepared, had something cooked, but And I don't know if I like it actually, because stick to your guns, which always works, and not like, why would you try out something in the finals, right? But I mean, they, especially Sloths had a lot of time to scrim now, had a lot of time to prepare, so I think coming up with new ideas from them isn't too bad, especially now that Dynasty maybe isn't prepared for that. But especially from the sides of Dynasty, it's kind of rough to see that they play different types of champions like they did in their 2 winning series. But especially like this Kindred, she needs a lot of prio, and at least with Syndra you have some prio. So it depends on top and bottom lane matchup, but at the moment Kindred at least has some chances to actually invade at the moment.
Yeah, and you also need engage from Dynasty side. With these 2 picks, yeah, you're banning Alistar and you're probably banning Leona. It could be good here for the Sloths, but you also need that engage to actually get these champs rolling. The Syndra, the Kai'Sa, and the Kindred. And there's the Braum gone for the Rift Sloths. So there's probably again a top lane tank that's going to be put down. So you have Malphite, there's Sion, yeah, there's
Yeah, definitely go for something special. Dynasty still has the last pick, which I believe in this case would probably go to the top laner. Give Hazagi a proper edge to get his own lane safe or ahead against Lex. So he can back up his promise from Wednesday.
And there's the Leona that we talked about.
Yeah, and I even predict like the Jack's blind pick maybe from Lex. And then the question is, do you want to go into a skill matchup? Do you want to go into a neutral matchup like Kragas, like Malphite, just something who can hold Jax but isn't really winning? It's so interesting to see those 2 teams like drafting real different ideas at the moment. And there's Rakan against Leona, so some are engaged, and especially Rift Sloths, in my opinion, kinda need even another engage source. I mean, at the moment they just have Nico Rakan, it's fine enough, but something is missing in my opinion. If they just go for a split pusher now, it could be not enough, especially against Syndra, especially against Humulu's Kindred. Maybe they don't have enough engage to really punish that. There's Jack's blind pick, so the question is just a neutral pick or a skill matchup now for Hazagi.
The Garen. The Garen it will be. That's a hard matchup. You can just eat a mute. Dodge the silence. But there's no... They are lacking go buttons then. And also the Fiora 4, the skill matchup actually. And that's going to be split push heaven, I think. It's gonna be 4v4 all game.
It definitely looks like it. Too very aggressive. I think we're also gonna see plenty of action going up there. Probably between just the 2 of them. Maybe either jungler could try to go for an early gank to set one or the other ahead, which could really help them. We'll see how that fares, as we have both drafts done and set.
It's an interesting draft, actually. Especially like this Fiora idea from Dynasty. Normally they place him on a weak side. Normally they place him on some sort of engaged champion, or like just Renekton, just low eco and a lot of prio for top lane. But this time Fiora actually is she kinda needs some resources. She kinda needs some warding, some help on the top lane. I mean, she's still weak side because she scales, but it's still a skill matchup, so maybe some help is required, and that's normally something which Dynasty isn't doing. So maybe Hazaki just wants to show that he's the stronger top laner. He wants to go into the skill matchup. He wants to go into this 1v1 instead of being like the weak side force team. He just wants to show that he's the best. top laner in this league so far. So I kind of like it, but it's kind of something new from Dynasty.
Yeah, and he also wants to hold his promise from Wednesday. He wants to beat Lex in lane and wants to beat the Sloths from his side, so he goes a late game beast, I can say, and also for this game he just really wants to show, yeah, I can beat you, Lex. I will hold my promise from Wednesday, and the draft was, yeah, they banned him out in the second rotation, so he actually had to go for this skill matchup. There were some picks to still be good. Yeah, they think the skill matchup it is. They just put the Jax behind, beat him with the Fiora.
And he did also say that he usually does go for those more aggressive V1 bruiser type of picks. It's just for the competitive that he started picking out on those team fight heavy champions, because it just works so well in competitive. So it's something that he definitely has the experience on, that he most probably can pull off, even against Lex, who is someone who plays exactly the same. So I think we might see two players of very high caliber doing what they might be able to do best.
Yeah, definitely. And like both junglers even are on a really skill heavy carry junglers. So I mean, that's really interesting, because normally both rather played a lot of tanks, a lot of frontline, a lot of engage options for their team, and now both kind of want to carry, both kind of want to win the 1v1 even in the jungle. So it's really interesting to see that, and especially like Kumelu, who isn't like the Kindred main, or who isn't like the best Kindred out there, but actually in solo queue he plays a lot of Kindred, so he maybe wants to show Shredded who's the better Kindred. Kind of an ego thing to do, but if it works out, why not?
Yeah,
and I...
Yeah?
No, go for it.
They also banned out the Kindred against Humelu on Wednesday. It was banned in all 3 games, so they are probably scared. There were probably some scrims where he just demolished everybody, so they just want to ban him out. That's probably the information that we can't have, because we can't look into these scrims. But yeah, it could be that, just the Kindred being a menace, and they now it's shown. Is the Kindred a menace, and will the Sloths be punished for it?
I believe we will see that during this game, which is already only on those 2 positions sure to be action-packed, because we're going to see action on top lane. We're going to see 2 junglers who definitely want to be very proactive in their gameplay, who should bring about a lot of action. Something I'm a bit curious about is the mid lane matchup. I don't think we've seen Bakan pick Nico at any point during the split, during the regular season of the split. And I'm also not too sure about the Syndra pick, although I think he did quite a few times, but didn't so often as of late for Frankie. What's your guys' take on this matchup, Nico versus Syndra?
Yeah, it's probably just a counter pick, just to flicker away when she tries to ult in, just to get her out of your team. And probably that's actually it, just to help your team in those fights, to keep her away.
Yeah, just to knock her back, and also the burst and the execution for all these squishier champs than tanks. The ult of Syndra in the late game is just going to hit you in the face, and that's just the thing. You will have to look out. You are squishy. If you get stunned by someone and then just bursted by everybody on the team, the Frankie hits R and just deletes everybody, and you have to actually see what you can do.
I'll see how that fares as we're headed towards the Summoner's Rift. Riftsnovs already went to look for an early aggression. Unfortunately, went into the wrong bush. Frankie was wise enough to not go in the pixel brush, and with that no kill fell. But I believe that both teams, this confirms that both teams are in a bit of a action mindset going into this best of 5 at least.
Yep, definitely. They just from the start wants to go for those little 1v1s. And I mean, it's really interesting. Humulu actually, as a first marked shredded. So he might want to go for some sort of an invade, some sort of like this 1v1, because in a matchup where like the enemy jungler has one crucial spell, like the stun, like his dashing forward, Kindred can always just jump to the side and dodge it and then win the 1v1. Like it's the same thing why Kindred is a big Jarvan counter, because he just dodges the combo.
Hey, we have the engage on the bot lane. But with the knockup able to counter it. I mean, level 1 bot lane, some action is usually not much action.
Yep, but still was a good trade. A little bit sad that Dark Q couldn't get like the 5th stack out, otherwise it would have hurt Krisen a lot.
Yeah, and that's the power of the Kai'Sa with some CC, and then we see it again.
So we're trying to get some damage this time around. Also, quick flash Q into it, cleanse out for Ardafla. Crablot gets low, but that's the cleanse out from the ESLOL player.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's in my opinion, it's a little bit too aggressive, especially level Leona level 2 is a really good power spike, but she tried to go for those level 1 plays 2 times in a row now. And I think they should have waited for this level 2, because now she's just really low and they did not accomplish too much at least. But at least, I mean, she traded Flash for Cleanse and now she has Hex Flash. So we might see another play with Humulu around the door.
Yeah, and they would have waited a second more, the CC would be probably better and it would bring more damage for the Kai'Sa, so probably see on the nervous side here.
Wow. Both junglers not too far away. Went from top side to bot side. Shredded going at a very solid pace here in his clear as well.
Yeah, and just some top trades. I mean, at the moment, nothing really happened too much. Especially like Humulu skipped a lot of camps and still not done Wolves, still not done Crump, whose Smite Duel actually goes down for Shredded. So that's, but now he might be in danger. Oh, Frankie!
Middle lane, a bit of a situation. Frankie gets really low, flashes away. Now Humulu onto Grisen and Shredded, who are able to get out of this situation. However, things were starting to erupt here.
Yeah, and especially like how did Humulu get stunned.
Humulu comes in, gets a lot of damage. TP coming in from Frankie, but Grisen is just around the corner as well.
Yeah,
going for that mark.
How did Frankie like lost this 1v1 even though Bukan was like still full life? I mean, those trades just went all in Bukan's favor probably, because I mean Frankie needed to flash it. Frankie was like really low, and in the end nobody died, but it was still a really good 1v1 by Bukan there.
Yeah, and he has flash, so he can wait for the level 6 and then just turn into a minion and ult in. And then Frankie can't do anything. He has to be on his own tower. So the lane goes to Beacon, at least the next few seconds.
Absolutely, keeping that pace up as well. Frankie resetting now. We have Drake coming up on the bot side. That's the first objective on the map. And for now, still no kills.
Yeah, no kills for either party, and now Drake spawned, so we might see some early Drake action, especially from Kindred, but also from Shredded could happen, because both can solo Drake probably. They have the damage. No good ward here from Lex. He was survived still a gank attempt, but now because they know that Kindred is topside, we might see an early Drake coming out from Shredded to just punish the pathing of Kindred.
Yeah, and he's still on the chickens. But Dynasty watered it out, so they know that something will happen. They also The wave is slow, pushing even more. There's the engage.
Yeah, here we have the engage on the bot lane, but quick reaction from Grizzon saves his AD carry's life. Cleanse still up, however, for Ardafla as well.
Yeah, and those trades will just always go the same way. Leona will just E in, but you can just buffer it with the Arcane Shift, and then Grizzon can just always knock up on the spot where Crablord lands. So those trades or those all-ins basically until level 6 will not really go into the favor of Dynasty because they cannot not go for those kills in the early game.
Yeah, and that means they can just survive it and sustain it up with the Rakan heal. And so nothing will happen. Glance is also up again.
And here we have another trade coming in from Crablord. Shredded just around the corner in case it would be a serious engage. In the meantime, Humulu goes to snatch his Shredded's blue buff, which is really good. This is something I noted currently on the top lane. Things looking a bit favorable for Hazaki. Here we have the gang on the mid lane. Is ulti gonna land? Yes, it does it with Shredded. That's first blood going to Bakan. Crablord also starting to look rather low as well as Gryzen, the bot lane.
Yeah, and like Yuji said, we can just expect this level 6 play by Bukan because of Flashless Frankie. He did it, and he got the first blood with it.
Yeah, it seems so easy. Like, pick Nico, get the flash out early, turn into minion and then just kill the enemy. It's just dumb that you can set up plays like this. And just it's good for play, you can say, for thinking, using a strategy in this. Yeah, the back denied because they're on the ward. But they would stay.
With that, they would be at numerical advantage, and yeah, Exhaust is dropped, Cleanse is dropped, flash out for Dark UniQ. Well played.
Yeah, that's some trades there now. They try to freeze this wave, and with that have at least a little advantage now. But especially like this top lane advantage from Hazaki, just purely this 1v1 skill from him already shows that even if he plays a scaling pick like Fiora with not a bad early game, but like she's a totally late game scaling pick, so the early minutes should be or should be her weak side, you could say. He still is strong enough to kinda get a little lead in the early game, which is remarkable.
Yeah, careful there with the engage on the mid lane because Crablord is just around the corner with Humulu. And I believe the Riftslords realize quick enough that it's not a fight worth fighting as they fall back.
Yeah. And top lane now gets big wave in. I mean, he is already 4 years ahead, and with this big wave, it's probably like 10 or 20.
Flash in from Shredded onto Dark UniQ, who is summoner-less, and that's the kill going to Ardafla.
Yep, well played. By Shredded and Ardafla just getting another kill for the team.
Yeah, and that's again punishment from the good wave setup that the Rift Sloths had with the ult interrupt on Crablord, the damage, so he had to go back. Dark UniQ had to waste Flash and Cleanse to get away, and now he's just going to die because there's no Flash nor Cleanse, and there's just the damage and the Flash from Shredded, so he's going to die.
Yeah. Absolutely, and with that slowly but surely starting to get ahead. Very nice parry here from Hazaki. As top lane, the trading continues, but yeah, you see that Lags is definitely tiptoeing around currently, but playing this really well as of now.
Yeah, always jumps in with this powered out attack, then goes out. Kinda like Fiora would do it with those Qs, but at the moment he actually out-trades her with every single little jump of him. And that's the reason why Hazaki is actually really low. And until Hazaki does not land like the repose on legs, you can probably not even get back into those trades, because if you are behind in those little auto attack trades, every single time you do it, you would just fall behind a little bit further. So until you all in him or until you get your stun, you will lose this lane matchup slowly but surely. Both have teleport soon, so we might see just him teleporting back on lane.
Very nice E from Bakan. Frankie flashes out. Situation diffused. Drake is up soon as well.
That's right, and we already see Shred playing around bot side, same as Humulu.
And they have a Rift Herald, so they're gonna set it up and get some platings out before they go down, and just have some pressure on the bot side here. Oh, but it is not dashing.
Catches it, but the engage goes on to Grizz and forced to get back with his ultimate already pretty low. Shredded is coming in now to the bot lane. They finish up the Herald. No further kills, but with that, Dynasty gets the jump onto this dragon. Is ESLOL gonna be able to contest it or not?
That's a good question. Herald at least got some platings, but not a 4v4. Maybe around Drake. Can Shredded get in? Can Shredded steal it? Top laners probably are not teleporting, and actually the Drake goes to Humulu, and both sides just disengage.
Yeah.
Lex, there's a kill angle for Lex here, so Hasagi has to back off very far away and give up some platings for free. Also gonna proxy a wave and then just go back. So there's 2 platings down.
Yeah, the top lane is doing their own thing, right? I believe at that point it might have been already too late, but Lex could have TP'd. Hasaki could not have denied it because Fiora has no hard CC to interrupt the TP, right? Would it have been interesting to get that Drake for the Rift Love? Second Drake it would have been, or maybe it was more worth for Lex to get those platings, that proxy for wave.
I think it was the right decision to not teleport. It's just a second Drake, why flip it there? I know both top laners with the Divine Sundera, so... Ooh.
Really good
Kinda
timings. On those riposte, we have Humulu coming in with Crab Lord. Lex reacts really quick, gets under the turret, but I believe the 3 of them, especially with the Kindred ult, could go for a tower dive here. So Lex has still to be careful. Very nice damage he puts on Hasagi very quickly. So.
Yeah, I think for the tower dive it would be too much. Turret plates will fall off soon, and it's really sad for Hasagi that he used the Grand Challenge just for nothing.
Bakan goes in with the flash after getting stunned. The damage on Frankie is insane. Shredded is around the corner. Bakan picks up that kill onto Frankie, but Humulu coming in from the jungle gets a lot of damage already from the Viego player in the form of his own teammate. Now it's Bakan coming back in, picking up the kill. Krablot getting really low, gets on the turret. Is he going to be able to get away? Yes, it does look like it. Careful there. Could come. True shot barrage coming in. Very nice. Not enough to kill him, unfortunately, thanks to the W. But very nice aim from Adafla still.
Yeah, and in the end, just 2 easy kills for the Rift loss. Now the first turret as well goes down for them, so they are just 3k ahead on Dynasty, and it looks already really hard for Dynasty to play. I mean, even though they go for those active plays like Airlord roaming and they try to kill Bukan, they just get punished, and in the end just lose all of those little trades.
Yeah, also the Kindred ult was not used, the Lamb's Restaurant is not down, else there would be only 1 left.
There. And I think slowly but surely ESLOL starting to take control of this game. We can see Hasaki still has some reported on the top lane. Dark UniQ picking up that turret, maybe no, barely not, has to be careful. ESLOL could engage him. And all in all, a very rough situation right now for Dynasty, who needs to find the right angle to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's still close. Teleport lane.
Yeah, this might be it, as we have the TP coming in from the top lane. The CC on Grizzle is there, he gets really low. Bakan in the meantime, push back, gets on the turret with Pop Blossom, but the damage is there, and that's the shutdown going to Dark UniQ. Nice true shot barrage, but thanks to the Lamb's Respite's heal, Humulu is able to survive by a shred of health.
Yeah, and it's so good played by Dynasty. They at least got now 2 kills, but I think in the process Hasagi died in a 1v1 or something.
Yeah.
So, and they even lost 2 turrets by their own, so 2 turrets against 1 and then a 2v1. So it's not quite worth it, but still it's a good sign of life from Dynasty.
Yeah, it all was also very well executed. Nobody died. Some ults went out, and you just see what the Sloths can do. They take a tower, take a top lane kill, and even take your mid lane tower if you try to go on one of these side lanes and try to get something out of it, and you get immediately punished. That's what the Sloths did the whole split. They punished these side lane picks very hard from the enemy team, and there is no exception this time around.
Absolutely. I believe most importantly getting the shutdown on the top lane, the 1v1. You can see that Lex right now with that one kill, the confidence boost, the tier 2 boots, he can deal a lot of damage to Hazaki. Was forced to back out. Grand Challenge is still up. He goes in, nice parry. Situation looks good for Hazaki, but here comes the stun. Without the parry, he is gonna die with that. Lex can simply push. He has TP up, meaning that Rift are on paper 5v4 for that Drake, and Dynasty is quick to react and they fall back.
Yeah, and like a big problem in this matchup is that he probably even maxes the Counter-Strike right now, while Fiora isn't maxing the Repos, and with that, like, the Counter-Strike has just a much lower cooldown, while Repos probably still has 18 seconds or something. So even if I think he needs to get the first stun landing and then all in with ultimate, because if he just waits long enough, there's the second Counter-Strike, and in this fight we even saw a third Counter-Strike. So it's just not that easy to play if you miss the first one. And yeah, with that he just got boloed.
Yeah, then we have the Siege. Probably has some engages in now, no? Yeah, that was it. And the Kindred is not showing off. I don't know how many stacks she has, but I think she's not even on 4. Oh, she's on 4. No, she's not. But so that means the Kindred is not. It's very weak. It doesn't have a passive here.
Yeah.
No range increased.
Couldn't really find proper footing in this game, and I think all this, well, Dynasty, when they lose a situation, they don't, it's not like, oh yeah, suddenly an ace and they get the really big push, but there have been a lot of small situations the Rift Sloths were able to win out, and with that now they've secured slowly but surely a rather big lead, 5k gold, 1 Drake ahead. This puts them in a very, very strong position right now. Their champions are starting to pop off, they're starting to get the items they need to really, really hurt Dynasty. And with that, they decided to like pick up the pace, and they do so really well.
Yeah, and now second turret is spawning soon, so we probably... why no? No, they will not go for second turret. But they could indeed go for something like a quick Herald, quick Baron, just because they have so much damage, they are so far behind, so far ahead. And Lex on the side lane makes a lot of pressure, and he wins his 1v1, so with that you can definitely just try to force a Baron, and then if Dynasty tries to contest it, just engage them with Bukan. I mean, he has flash, he has his ultimate, so just turn on them, and after that just do the Baron. So that could definitely be a play by Rift Sloths, just to force it and just to get a really good victory here.
Yeah, and they go for the catch on the top lane as Frankie is pushing Bukan's push. Pop Blossom is gonna hit, the damage is there. TP has been initiated by Hazaki, but he's now alone in the middle of 4 Rift Sloths members before his team can join up. The fight is going on. Lex picks up the kill on the Fiora player. Traveler and Humili decide to step back just ahead of time, but that puts Dynasty at a 2-man disadvantage for this Baron that the Rift Sloths are starting.
Yeah, now they can just do it. I mean, Humulu is still living, so with him they could still go for a steal, but it will be a tough one.
Yeah, Lex goes in on the other side of the wall along with Risen. They just push the enemy out of the way. They zone them out of their own jungle right now. While we have Khan, Shredded, and Adafla finishing that. Baron, Lamb's Raspid is dropped. We have the Zenith Flare, but that's not enough. Rift, Lex picks up the kill on Humulu, and with that and the Baron, they're gonna take that turret easy peasy.
Yeah, and I mean, their shortest win was like 22 minutes. It will be not the shortest win for ESLOL here, but with this Baron buff, they can probably just crack open the base. And especially like with 2 winning side lanes, they should not be able to lose this game after that Baron. They're just too far ahead, 8,000 gold. And there's not really a good win condition anymore for Dynasty, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, the Kindred is too far behind. The Arcunic still is on 1 item. The Jax is a beast, he can do what he wants, just runs around and just says, yeah, try to kill me, I'm just gonna kill you. And he's thinking if he had a real weapon he would be dead.
And here we have the push. Dark Unity already need to flash out. And you see, they can just go in, deal a bunch of damage, don't care about turret get back, and they still come out advantages from the trade. And something about Lex, he is already level 15. He's 3 levels ahead from the enemy lane. Okay, now 2. Hazaki just got level 13. And 6 levels ahead from Crablord.
Yeah, that's really insane. So they will get tier 2 turret on the sideline with Flex. At the moment, in my opinion, they shouldn't like do this 4-man, 3-man mid lane stuff and rather try to get something else, because they really do not get too much out of the Baron at the moment. Just the 1 turret on the top lane now, so in my opinion they could have gotten more out of the situation right now, but they will probably just play for Drake now and slowly but surely win anyway. But I think they could have gotten a much higher lead with this Baron.
Yeah, they can also play just slow. And also get the split push down, get the buffs, and get the safe dragon. But the turret damage is not that good on range. Azure is not the turret killer you actually want to have. That's the soul point for Rift Sloths. Also the Ocean Soul that does no good against the Sloths here. It's very strong at the moment. Well, yeah, it's hard. Dynasty are very far behind. They're 9k behind. They have no win con actually. And the Sloths are just out macroing. We get shredded here.
A small patch. It's really fast for Dynasty. That's already a good step forward. I mean, they get the money from that kill, but they're still very far behind. 1 member down. That's 5v4 for Dynasty. And we've seen that they can still defend rather well against the siege, especially now with the Baron buff being off for the Rift Sloths. It's going to be a bit tougher to get the push going on.
Yeah, but it's basically just 1 kill, and that does not really change anything. I think it wasn't even with a shutdown or something. Just for shredded without vision, being a little bit too far forward, and
here we have the engage from Gravelot, who's in the middle of the Rift Sloths, but realizes really quickly that, yeah, no, 3v3, same number of people, they cannot fight that, and quickly falls back.
yeah, but just look at the map state at the moment. I believe Lex should just chill on the side lane, should just pressure in inhib turret, and I mean, it's unlosable in my opinion, but Rift just takes too much time for me. And just lets Dynasty a little bit back into the game, especially like Kaiser with now 2 items, can start to go for those poke. We have Kindred, we have Fira, so a lot of scaling champions, and they shouldn't take too much time and should finally start to use this 4-0 Lex in just destroying some turrets.
Yeah, and they are... What do you want? They are just so far ahead. Look at Laxi has 3 items and Hasagi is 1 in the third. There's the poke coming out, the engage is there.
Yeah, the knockup lands on Humlu, and with that damage is hit Bakan. Also a bit preemptively, but still gets 2 people. Lamb's Respite saves them, however, now the rest of Dynasty is there to maybe turn the situation around. TP coming in from next. That, of course, is a really bad omen for Dynasty, who decide to immediately fall back with 2 members already pretty low. And yeah, that's it.
Why would you teleport there? I don't understand it. Like, those split push. I mean, and now they stopped the siege. It's just, oh no, we could lose a team fight where 2 people almost died. So it's Dynasty can't win this team fight. But let's call Lex instead of getting an inhib. Let's get them to us. Enemy team disengages, and oh, we get nothing out of this teleport. It's I don't like it. I don't like it. But I mean, it's a good engage.
Engage here on the middle lane. Humli is the first to fall. Lamb's Respite is on cooldown. He cannot use that, and that's quickly resolved. I believe with that, the Sloths should be able to put the last hit onto Dynasty. 2 members down. It's gonna be rough for them to defend this, as now the Sloths are rotating towards that top lane turret.
And probably get the first inhib of the series here on the top lane.
Yeah, this wasn't an engage, just a disaster
catch, yeah.
for Dynasty. Yeah.
And it turned into a catch for the Sloths in the end.
Yeah. It was a nice catch and also a hard disaster for. So they try everything and they're just too far behind. 11k behind, 10k behind. It's just not easy to play around. And now with the Baron gone and Soul actually in 40 seconds, you have to be very quick to set up your vision around that bot side.
Yeah, and we now stop the 3 item power spikes on most of the member are after by 3 items, Lex and Shredded also. So that's a lot of power coming out from them. And now the question is, can Dynasty protect this soul, or do they not can do that anyway? At the moment they try to sneak into those brushes, they just try to sneak some vision and maybe find a catch, but it's hard. Oh no.
Oh,
They fall for the trap.
Yeah,
Man.
The face checking with Nico is pretty easy. Just do the W and then just go away. TFC engage.
We have Dynasty engaging that Drake, but Sloths are just around the corner. Shredded getting a lot of damage in from Hazaki, but we have, I believe, Lex who came over the wall to save him. Dark Uni-Q between him, and that's the Drake going to Dynasty. With that, the teamfight isn't short, as Lex in the middle of the end. Other flow in the meantime with Picard just pushed the base in, and with that, they get the first win. What a distraction.
Yeah, wonderfully played, and especially Dafla. I mean, he has no teleport, and still, I don't know, was in the base or something. I mean, he just never went to the Drake, and that's the first win.
We didn't even see. I didn't see that on the minimap. I was concentrating on the team fight. But Beacon and Dafla said, "No, we are not. We are just gonna end the game, and that's it. That's the first series."
Yeah, I mean, Lex and Shredded did a really good job of a distraction. They got me as well. I was so focused on what's going on right now here. Wow, this fight is such a mess, and I feel like maybe it was intentionally a bit of a mess on the Sloth side. I mean, we had the Nico that did the face check, which is kind of like, oh yeah, Nico is not too far away. You're not too careful about the Nico, and then you have at some point a true shot barrage coming in, and you're like, all right, Ezreal's not too far away as well, but no, they were so far away. And with that, the Sloths still showing how strong they are, how much of a challenge they can be with such a strong performance.
Yeah, totally. But I think we should go into a small break, and then let's see if Dynasty can get back into the series. I mean, they did 2 sweeps. Maybe they need to do the reverse sweep now, who knows? But let's see if they can do it or not in the second game of the series after a short break. See you soon.
See you soon.